Look, you know what you're going to get from me. But good evening, and welcome to you all. I'm Abz of October Red. Thank you for joining us. And guess what? I'm joined by the man of the moment, Monsieur Gareth A. Davies. Bonsoir, Monsieur. Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. C'est tout vachement bien ici à Paris.
And how's it going over there in France?
Really well. It's been a busy first day here, getting over here to the Paralympic Games.
Yeah.
And, going all over the city, getting the credentials sorted out, and then going to the main press centre. It's big games, of course. And then got a big briefing at Paralympics GB House tomorrow with the team and some of the stars. So, looking forward to getting over to that. And then hopefully I'll pick up my ticket to the opening ceremony for tomorrow night. Wednesday night is the opening ceremony, actually. So just getting settled here. I'm in the heart of Paris, Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est I am. Just getting acquainted with the metro system. Got my free bus pass for 16 days. My free metro pass and bus pass. So I'm going to try and make the most of it. Been coming to Paralympics for a long time, Abs. And it's just one of those things that I love covering.
Nice one. I was going to say, Gareth, you've gone from the US to Paris, and in between I've seen that you've done some segments on TalkSport. I've been catching up with those as well. I've got to go. I mean, I've looked for the Francis Ngannou conversation. I can't find it because I wanted to get abreast with that. But
it's on the MMA. It's on, for those wanting to see it. It's right on the TalkSport MMA YouTube channel.
Right.
It's TalkSport's MMA channel. Yeah, they should probably put it on the boxing channel as well, but it's on the MMA channel, and the Paul interviews on there as well.
Right. Can you run me through those? Because obviously I went straight to the boxing channel. Yes, ignorance, fair enough. It is mixed martial arts, even though Jake Paul isn't. But can you talk us through it? How did it go? And how was Francis? Because that was something I was keen to listen to.
Yeah, Francis was very good. I mean, they did play some of it out on Fight Night on TalkSport on Saturday night with Adiola Depot and Spencer Oliver were in the studio. Obviously, I was in America covering the MMA event. But the Francis was fantastic. Obviously, he's about to fight Henan Ferreira in a Super Champions fight in Riyadh in October. A lot of people have asked him about how he feels about the loss of his son. I didn't do that in my one-on-one with him. I talked about where he is right now and whether he was happy to go back to MMA, but he was very, very forthright in the fact that he hasn't given up boxing yet.
Oh.
He definitely wants a fight with Deontay Wilder. He definitely wants a rematch with Tyson Fury. And there are other fighters out there, although he joked Martin Bakoli's too dangerous to step in with right now, because I said it could be like a return to the Rumble in the Jungle against a Bakoli, Cameroon against Congo. Of course, he was in Fine Fettle. He's always interesting. He revealed a story to me about his first ever fight when he was a kid was against two boys, twins. And I said, what, one after the other? He said, no, both at the same time. And I got my arse handed to me, he said. That was kind of the long and the short of it, really. But he's very, very keen for a Deontay Wilder fight. And it left me thinking, it'd be peculiar if he did fight Deontay Wilder. And I don't know what you think about that. But he may end up, if he does fight Wilder, being the guy who in 3 fights fights Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder, when Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury may not even fight each other in this era. How peculiar is that? How weird does that make our sport?
I think the sport is just weird at the moment as it is, because seeing a mixed martial arts fighter step in with Tyson Fury, then straight after stepping with Anthony Joshua was kind of like unheard of for this era. So,
and stretch Tyson like he did.
Yeah,
and stretch Tyson. And then get horribly knocked out by Joshua,
Anything's possible in this era. Is he ready to go back into mixed martial arts? Because it sounds like from what you said, he's still got this unfinished kind of hunger with the boxing, even though, yes, he's in the PFL, he's got a fight coming up, But is the boxing to you, is it still nagging at the back of his mind?
Yeah,
Does he still feel like he's got some things to achieve?
that's exactly what that's exactly the impression I got from him, October Red. I got the impression that he's got the bug. He's bitten by the boxing bug, and it annoys him. Obviously, he was flying high after the Tyson Fury fight when he shocked the world with that performance, and when he felled Fury in the 3rd round. But he's probably frustrated with his performance against Anthony Joshua, and he feels like he's got more in him. Look, we know he was the UFC heavyweight champion. He's achieved great things in mixed martial arts. He also, by the way, said he wants his homecoming fight to be in Africa. Now, I don't know. I think he clarified that will be in MMA, but it could be in boxing, or it could be in both. He could have one in both. So it was very interesting. As I said, it's always interesting to be around Francis. You have to kind of open him up a little bit to speak to him, because otherwise he doesn't offer very much, because he's not, I don't mean that in a rude way. I just
he's
mean
reserved.
He is quite reserved. So he's not looking to be effusive. And we had a bit of fun. We had a bit of a laugh, you know, and I really appreciated the 15 minutes, you know, one-on-one I had with him, as we always do with these kind of interviews. It was fantastic to talk to him. I think he's ready to be back in MMA, though. It'll have been January 2022, the last time he fought in MMA. And Ferreira's a beast as well, a big old beast.
Okay.
So it'll be over 30 months, 33 months since he's been in a cage fighting. So, but it was great to be around. He did his media duties. It's not what he loves. But as we know, he's one of the great, as I told him, he's one of the most fascinating stories for us. And I said, you need to realize people like Tyson Fury with his story, Mike Tyson with his story, you with your story in the heavyweight division. Obviously, there are many major names who've got amazing stories in the heavyweight division, but it does something to us. And I said, do you realize that? He said, you know, all it makes me realize is that life sucks for some of us. You know, life sucks. So I think there's a lot of scars inside him. There's a lot of scar tissue, emotional scar tissue, which he can't let out. He's not ready to let out, because it might be, you know, the things that have happened to him in his life, the journey he made through Africa. We know the journey's well documented, isn't it? You know, it was. Yeah. It's an extraordinary thing. It's bigger than a Hollywood movie. His life's like a movie. It's unbelievable. You know, it's
that warrior mentality that he's got.
I like his vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm. So Jake Paul, then, most valuable promotions, getting to speak to him, obviously now the Mike Tyson fight, if you want to call it that, has been rescheduled. We've seen them have a little, you know, the face off, the whatever on stage. Gareth, talk to us about that, because you know me, I'm a massive Mike Tyson fan, and I've got the utmost respect for Jake Paul and what he's done, especially for Amanda Serrano, especially being as ambitious he is. He's got this promotional company, but how was he?
Well, he's always good, Jake. I've known him for several years now and always get a little bit of time with him. I agree with you on all those points. He's also got massive cojones doing what he does. Again, he's got an aptitude for it. But as I did tell him, all the guys my age, I said, you know that we all want Mike Tyson to do you. You know that. And he took it.
Okay, fair play for your honesty. What was he like with that?
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And I said, I'm giving Mike Tyson 4 minutes to do you. He said, 4 minutes is a very long time.
Damn.
He was on great form. He was keeping Ngannou and Ferreira apart at the press conference.
I saw that.
And he's going to have a fight in the cage, he says, next year.
Fair
Absolutely nailed down he's going to do it. Wants the challenge. You know, we're all a little bit uneasy about Mike Tyson stepping into the ring against Jake Paul at his age, but he's going to make a very big whack out of it. I do worry for his health, but it's a one-off, and we can sit here and say all we like. If Mike Tyson's fit, he'll be stepping in there against Jake Paul. If Mike Tyson lands, Jake Paul's in trouble. Will he land? Can he land? How long will he be able to land for? Jake Paul is getting better and better as a rudimentary big 210-pound boxer. He said he'd be 230 pounds when he steps in there. I think he's a marketing genius.
Yeah, he is.
A very, very clever marketing genius. And it's always great to see him.
I think with Jake Paul, with the experience that he's had, one of the original YouTubers able to captivate that audience, him and KSI, you know, that online friendship, online beef, as it were. And they've both gone on. You know, you've got KSI joint with Mams Taylor doing Misfits, and you've got, you know, Jake Paul doing Most Valuable. And like I said, the work that he's doing with Amanda Serrano. And look, I'm not happy about the fight that he's having with Mike Tyson, because I just think it's just not good for Mike Tyson's legacy. But like you said, he's getting paid and it's his choice. If he believes he's fit, the commission have said it's, you know, it's okay. Then I've just got to like literally just shut the hell up, sit back. I either watch it or I don't.
You'll watch it. You'll watch it because it's one of those rubbernecking moments. It's a car crash moment in a sense. But Jake Paul says, I think I read somewhere that he's getting $40 million for this. So you can guarantee that Mike Tyson will be getting, well, I can't guarantee, but I would expect he's getting upwards of $10 million for it. And rightly so, because he's a huge selling point. I mean, again, like I said, it goes back to, it piques your curiosity. That's what it does in the right and the wrong way. And like you say, when they faced off a week ago, Jake's a big guy.
Yeah,
obviously, Mike fought a lot of big guys, but the 30-year age discrepancy is an issue. But it's just where we're at now in this time. It's where we're at, and he wants to do it. No one's going to stop him.
You know what's crazy? You talk about the 30-year age gap, and it's a fight that's still going ahead, and a fight that's been sanctioned, a fight that's been commissioned, allowed to happen. But then you'll get fighters over here literally whinging about age differences between them, and it's nowhere near 30 years. It's like maybe there's a 10-year, 11 years. But these guys, and I will say that Mike Tyson's going to put it all on the line because he's got his reputation to think about, his legacy. But he's still getting on with it. And that's when I was talking about having that fighting spirit. Mike Tyson, whatever you think, has got that. He's a natural born fighter. With Jake Paul, that is that natural born, that entrepreneur, that go-getter, that person that really wants to do something different. And we got to respect that, right?
Yeah, exactly. You laid it out. They're both very different characters. They've got different storylines. One, the kid was working on Disney. The other kid grew up in the roughest neighborhood with, you know, in salubrious scenarios to struggle and survival and redemption and transmission. And he's boxing royalty now, Mike Tyson. He's beloved by everyone. No one wants to see him get hurt. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully he won't. We shall see, though. It's going to be a very dramatic night, in my view. And obviously, as you say, Amanda Serrano and Taylor will fight on that card as well.
Yes, of course. That's been rescheduled on that. Gareth, we've got to move on to, well, I want to ask you a couple of new signings, not new fighters, but new signings. I'm going to go straight in with Shakur Stevenson, kind of like the worst kept secret after all the poses and the pictures together and the handshakes in Los Angeles and the selfies wherever. He's finally announced, and he's fighting Joel Cordina, as we have the full undercard announced for October the 12th as we continue Riyadh season. What are your thoughts on that, Gareth?
Well, obviously, Shakur's done a 2-fight deal, I believe, with Matchroom, with Eddie Hearn.
Oh, it's just 2?
I think it's a 2-fight deal. That's fascinating. As you say, we saw His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh with Shakur as well. I think it's a good fight against Cordina. You've got 2 Russians headlining the card in Beterbiev and Bivol, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, who it's amazing. Oh yeah, it's an amazing undisputed light heavyweight title fight. But they haven't got loads of fans who follow them with their feet. So to put an American star on is good. helps with the American audience. At lightweight with Joe Cordina, that's competitive, although Shakur will be a big favourite. Probably wins on points, but he might even win by late stoppage. It's a really good card. Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark rematch, a women's fight on there with Sky Nicholson and Raven Chapman, something you've brought up before about when will women's cards fight events start in the Riyadh season. That's a decent matchup as well. Ben Whittaker's on the card, Chris Eubanks on the card, 4 boxer fighters. So Ben Shalom working in tandem with Frank Warren and Queensbury, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, Spencer Brown and Gold Star, who's obviously very involved in it as well. They've done a great job with it. It's a really appetizing cards, and it comes only a month after the September card at Wembley, which is going to be a sellout. So these are great times. I mean, even this weekend, Naoya Nui against TJ Doney in Japan. You know, there's so many big events. Canelo the week after next in Vegas on the 14th.
14th, yeah. I do apologise, yeah.
Belenga. Got some great boxing going on right now. It's a real time of, look, a year ago, it's a year since it's a year since Alexander Usyk. It's a year to the day since Alexander Usyk fought Daniel Dubois in Wrocław in Poland. And look how the sport's changed since then.
Phenomenal.
Exactly. Usyk was holding on to the belts, waiting to fight Tyson Fury when the right money came into play. We've been told that we were going to get some amazing major events, and then Riyadh season, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh brought their genuine investment into the sport. And look where we are a year later. There's still people picking holes in it, got bones to pick with it. But you can see the glass half full or the glass half empty right now.
Yeah, I agree. No, but you're spot on, Gareth, because it's like, it's like sometimes we almost can't be satisfied, and it's like
we can never be satisfied. There's always someone in the boxing industry. There's always someone in the boxing industry moaning about it. And what was going on before the investment? We weren't getting the fights. That's the irony of Francis Ngannou potentially fighting Wilder, Joshua, and Fury. It just says it all. And potentially Fury and Joshua and Wilder and Joshua may never meet each other. If the Saudi Arabians had come along 2 or 3 years ago, we'd have got all those fights. So anyone complaining about their investment, just they've got opinions on things because they want to move and shake. They're always going to do that. They're going to complain about their wife bringing home the wrong shopping from because they didn't bring the right meal home, or they didn't bring the right steak. It should have been a filet mignon, not a filet mignon, and not a T-bone steak, or it should have been these vegetables, not those. People will always see fault with some things.
Yeah, you're right.
People will always see fault with atmosphere. People will always see fault with it being over there. Times change. The culture moves. People will complain that certain cultures are trying to take over the sport with sports washing. You can make it as political. You can make anything as political as you want to. You can put any kind of slant on anything you want to. That's life.
We can talk about making things political, but I'm happy that we're getting the 2 gentlemen who you can arguably say that they've got Russian backgrounds getting to fight. So we can talk about politics all day, because we the top of the bill is 2 fantastic fighters, and I'm happy to see that. I'd literally just pay for that fight because that's a fight that I want to see anyway. Getting the other fights is a bonus. But that's the icing on the cake.
But they cleverly put them together as attracting interest in America with Shakur, attracting interest with matchups that bring a British audience as well, to certainly eyeballs. And the great thing with Beterbiev and Bivol Beterbiev is that right now I could sit here and say to you, no, do you know what? I do fancy Bivol to outbox Beterbiev, and then I'll go out and have a bite to eat and come back and I'll be going, no, do you know what? The truth is, I thought Beterbiev might really put it on him and stick it on him. Right now, today,
Yeah.
I'm with Beterbiev.
I've always been with him.
I have, but every time I see Bivol, I'm more and more impressed with him. And that's just the way it is. So the fight is amazing. Both undefeated, both extraordinary characters. They're not going to do a lot of trash talking. They'll do a bit of eyeballing with each other, but that'll be it.
I like the eyeballing though, because we had that at the initial presser. But before we go, Gareth, I've just got to ask your thoughts on obviously.
No questions tonight.
I'm going to go through them in a bit, but I do want to cover some bits as I know that I haven't got you for a long time, Gareth.
What, 4 more minutes?
Yeah. So I need to ask you about Frank Warren being really top heavy, one for a better word, with his heavyweights, and now he's added Fabio Wardley to his stable. Something else that was kind of like rumbling in the background that was potentially going to happen. I thought he might have stalled it until after the fight with Fraser, but he's gone and done it before. So talk to us about that, and what do you think about that and the signing before the fight rather than after?
Well, it's terrific, isn't it? I mean, it pitches Queensberry against Boxer. I think.
Oh yeah,
Fraser,
it is, isn't it?
I think Fraser is still with. I think he's still with Shalom and Boxer.
He is.
It's an interesting addition. Frank's got the best stable in the world right now. You know, he's got Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, Zhili Zhang, Fabio Wardley, Moses Atama. Oh my God, it's incredible, really. Yeah, I just think it's a good move by Fabio Wardley, and obviously they didn't want him to be independent. Frank really backs his fighters to the hilt. He's coming at them at a good time. Yeah, and he does, and Fabio Wardley's put it out there on his social media channels that he's really happy to be with Frank Warren at this time in his career. Frank and George Warren, I think he's made the right move. I mean, on that note, it's fascinating to read today Moses Atama calling out Joseph Parker.
Oh, he called out. I thought he called out Joel Joyce.
No, Joseph Parker.
Flipping heck, he's going after all of them.
I read,
you know what?
I read he called out a fight with Joseph Parker, yeah.
Interesting. Fair play to him. He's ambitious. I'll never knock anyone for having ambition. His goals. He's setting his goals high, and why not? If he believes he can do it, why not? You know, you do get people that you shouldn't be doing that. Well, why not? Caroline Dubois was calling out people that were way ahead of her, and everyone had something to say about that as well. But if you're a fighter, you're going to have that ambition because you want to be the best. And if you want to be the best, you've got to believe it. And to believe it, you've got to want to go up against the best. So fair play to him. I'll never knock a fighter who mouths off about them wanting to take out other people. Isn't that what they're supposed to be doing anyway?
I agree. I agree, but it's a bad fight for Joseph. I agree, but it's not. I agree. Great fight for Joseph Parker to take unless he's getting a ton of money for it, because it doesn't do him any favors at all beating up a novice. If he does, but look, it is what it is. It's great that they're all going to potentially fight each other. I like that question, by the way.
Go on then. It's all yours. Gareth, your reception's a bit weird.
Well, I'm in a hotel, so I can't do it. I'm sorry about that. Am I freezing?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. What, like that, you mean?
Usually me that looks like a bloody mannequin, not you.
Francis Ngannou movie, please. Alexander Usyk movie. Yeah, I watched the big George Foreman as well. I interviewed him about that movie. It was amazing. Francis Ngannou, Alexander Usyk. Well, we've had a Netflix series about Tyson Fury, so we might not need a movie as well. But I'd like to see a graphic novel about movie about Francis Ngannou.
All right, DTD saying I always lean towards Bivol, and with this knee injury so close to the fight, And considering his age too, you've just got to lean towards Bivol.
Well, the injury to Beterbiev, he means. Yeah.
Injury.com.
Yeah, maybe, but Beterbiev is brilliant in terms of how he does his swarming attacks, and he's just stopped everyone he's fought. But
yeah,
Bivol is different. Look, we can't predict. We can predict, but we just don't know. This is a genuine pick'em of all the fights we've had recently. This is a genuine pick'em.
We love it. Listen, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I've took far too much time. We've gone over by 5 minutes, Gareth. Who thought you would have lasted an extra 5 minutes?
Well, I was on time for once, so
amazing. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening in. Gareth, enjoy your week at the Paralympics. Hopefully we'll catch up again next week. We'll do our usual AM conversation. It's a pleasure to always have you and always speak with you. So yeah, you know what we say here at October Red. Stay ready.